I was drafted from out of Washington, Pennsylvania, right following graduation from college. So I was drafted before Pearl Harbor, and we went into the. Those that were drafted under the slogan of "Goodbye, dear. I'll be back. You'll be back in a year." So nobody minded being drafted, but when Pearl Harbor came along, it changed and changed everything. And so we were in. I was in 4 or 5 years, somewhere in between 4 and 5 years, and first I had no ambitions. I would say, well, I will serve a year or so and I'll be out and I don't care what. So, but I was drafted into drafted into the squadron, what in the world? The squadron that kept kept order.
MPs. MPs.
Yeah, the MPs, exactly. I was drafted and I was put in with the MPs, and I didn't like that very well. That didn't seem to be. I was a college graduate. I didn't think I ought to be in the MPs, and so I asked if I could. And when the opportunity came along, the leading person at that, I forget what you call him now, but the leader there at that location, somehow I learned. And I know somehow in talking to him, I don't know exactly how I found out about it, but he had the the person at
the commander.
The commander. Okay, now you cut it out until that point. Okay, the commander of the unit that we were with had a dog, and he was wanting a doghouse. And so when I went over to him, and I said I had told him I had some training. I went to work for Hazel Atlas Glass Company right after graduation, and I was on the drafting board at that point. So I had some experience in it, and so I could draw him up a doghouse if he wanted one. And he said, "Fine, do that." And so I did, and they looked at it, and he said, "It looks okay. That's what we'll go with." And I said, "By the way, I would like to get a release from this squadron that I'm in, but they told me that I needed an equal. That's not the exact thing, but I needed somebody to take my place. If I would take the place out of the MP squad, well, nobody is going to voluntarily come into the MP squad." And so that was a very difficult thing to do. But the commander there was able to take care of that, and so then I was able to. Then Pearl Harbor came along.
Where were you at the time that Pearl Harbor was attacked? Do you remember where you were?
Do I know what?
Do you remember where you were on the day that Pearl Harbor was attacked?
You know, I was in Ohio, and I think it was Ohio, and we were. It would not be Ohio. It would not be Ohio, Scania. I was situated near the Texas border, near the Mexican border. At the time of Pearl Harbor, I was in the base right next to Mexico, and so we several of us decided to go and see what Mexico looked like. And when we were over in Mexico, they were all talking about it, and they told us that the Pearl Harbor had been attacked by the enemy. And that's how I heard about it. Was we were just in Texas for no good reason, and not in Texas. We were in Mexico for no good reason, and so then it became more and more important.
What are your most vivid memories about the war?
What?
Your most vivid memories. What are the things you remember most about that time of your life in the war?
I can't say. It was. I like the governorship. I like the fact that you were a part of a working unit, and that they had rules and regulations, and that you had to follow them. I think I was impressed with that for the first time in my life, that you were going to do that, whether you like it or not, and it was a good experience, and I had no complaints about. I was in a good unit, and I liked my service.
Now, where did you serve during the war? Did you leave the United States?
I did. The longest one was over to Asia, over to Africa, where they were. They had the service was going to the air service was crossing Africa and into China. I guess it was China, and doing taking people over and doing. They were trying to. They were there over there to prevent the Russians and from doing any farther, and so as they came across Africa, and I was what do they call it? I had a weather station.
You were a meteorologist?
Meteorologist, yeah. I had a weather station. They sent me to Caltech. They sent me to Caltech in California for about 9 months to learn something about it. And, I think I went to Caltech because I had a high mark when they enter. Everybody enters the service, they're given a test, and I had a high mark for some reason, and so they sent me down to Caltech, and Caltech is a graduate school. I never heard of a graduate school until I was sent to Caltech, and I wished I'd never heard of it again. It was very difficult to go to a graduate school where they expected you to go to the library and do things. They just throw something at you and you go to the library, but you'll be quizzed on it sooner or later. You've got to read this stuff, and that was my response, and I didn't like it too well. However, I did get my commission, and then I was sent to Africa for one of the stations in Africa online to over to the.
What rank were you?